It is the age that these people live to that is often hard to understand. Now just look at this, just get a grip on this. Adam lived to 930 years. Seth lived 912, Enosh lived 905, Kenan 910, Mahalalel was 895, Jared 962, Enoch was 365, but he walked with God and was no more. Methuselah lived 969, Lamech lived 777, and Noah, well, we'll find out how old he was in the next couple of weeks. You see, there's a number of different ideas here too. That, firstly, that time is the same as ours, but they count it differently. Oh, I don't know about that. The time is symbolic, as are the people, and they indicate the ages of man before history was recorded. They were closer to being perfect, so their bodies didn't wear out as much. I like the sound of that. They just lived a long time, and it doesn't really matter about their ages. Other people say it's just an introduction to Noah. There's a few other views as well, but these are the main ones. So what do you reckon? I think it depends on our view of God. Could you live that long? Well, firstly, only if God wanted you to. Did they live that long? Well, the Bible says they did. It depends on how much credence you put on the numerics in the Bible, doesn't it? Believe it or not, your choice. I can't prove it, I wasn't there. Yet this is this is the only ancient document to say that people lived a long time. No, that's not right. So many ancient myths from other cultures infer that people lived a lot longer. Aztecs, Persians, Celtic myths mention people who live a lot longer than we do. Where did the idea come from? Well, maybe it's true. My assumption is the Bible's record is pretty close to right. No, probably just right. What about Enoch? Altogether, Enoch lived 365 years. Enoch walked with the Lord, then was no more because God took him away. Now, when I was a kid, I dreamed about this, walking with God, and then all of a sudden I was with God all the time. I like that thought. I think that's much better than going through the pain of death. As you can see though, I'm still here. There have been many views on this as well. Firstly, did he live perfectly? Now, it doesn't say that. Nowhere does it say that. His relationship to God may have been so close that he just faded into a heavenly being. I don't exactly know what that means. 365 years indicates a full year, and this indicates when our time is up, we go to be with God. God took him to be in God's presence permanently because God chose to. Yep. Regardless of the first three, that's probably true. I think it is the credibility of his relationship to God that is emphasized, not the being taken away. The Bible tends to give credit where it is due, and Enoch had some special relationship with God, and God recognized that. And as did the writer of the book of Genesis. The question is for us, do we walk with God? Not how did Enoch disappear, but how's our walk? Remember, we are learning about God here. What does it say about God? It says we need to walk with him. He treated Enoch individually special. This is a very personal God. He's involved in individuals' lives. He walks with his people. A relationship-orientated God. In other words, he walks with us. Thirdly, we look at the concept of it being an introduction to Noah. It says in verse 28, when Lamech had lived 182 years, he had a son, and he named him Noah and said, he will comfort us in the labour and painful toil of our hands caused by the ground the Lord cursed. Okay. That goes along with his name Noah. Okay, that's what's going to go on. You will notice in the Bible that people are introduced before they become the subject matter. We see it with Paul. He was Saul beforehand, and guess what? He was introduced as being the holder of the coats at Stephen's stoning. But he becomes a real part of the story later. The Old Testament is similar in a lot of ways in what's happening. Noah is introduced as part of the heritage, direct descendant of Abram. Working it all out mathematically, Noah could have possibly known Seth. Maybe some of you mathematical types would like to look at that. Adding all the numbers up and the longevity of the people, maybe he knew a vastly greater number of generations than we will ever get a chance to. He's introduced, and notice that a word of prophecy is used. In fact, it has a name meaning. As we understand it, Noah means, or meant to the Hebrews, one who comforts in tough times. Yep, maybe, just maybe, life is already getting just a bit wild. Maybe, just maybe, Lamech had an inkling that God wasn't happy with the culture's lifestyle. Yeah, Noah is introduced when God is about to do something. This comfort that he was going to offer was different from what his dad had in mind, perhaps. But the comfort goes through history to us. Noah is a comfort to us. Why? Because he did what God wanted. We can follow that lead. So there are two people we need to take note of. Enoch reminds us that we need to get our relationship to God, and we need to get it right. Noah, who encourages us to comfort those around us. It's an interesting passage when we look at it, isn't it? And I think it's something that we need to develop the art of having a look at what we learn from the different aspects of the biblical narrative. Bless you.